Let's talk anime. Hello and welcome to Brandon's Discuss Anime, a 15 plus Reckless Amoeba podcast. I am your host, Brandon Horvath, and with me is my co-host, Brandon Falinger.
Heaven's a door! Now I just need to write into him that I am the actual host.
No! Yep, just us two again. And for the other two upcoming episodes, we will be having guest hosts. So,
Yay, no more loneliness.
yay. So, not much has been going on with me in the past while. Like I mentioned to you, I was at our local favorite Asian market and found out that the bakery closed down, so unfortunate news there.
I mean, we knew it had closed down. We just didn't know if that was a permanent thing or not, and now it's permanent.
Yeah. So I will have to look to see if there's any sort of like bakery close by that we could stop at if it's not super far out of the way.
Yeah.
But I know you don't really like spicy all that much, but since I went with my parents, since my mom likes to laugh at some of the Asian things, like, who would eat that? Ooh, look, there's fish out. Ooh,
Yes, the close-minded type. Got it.
kind of, but we stopped at Trader Joe's beforehand because she was never there, and I found something interesting that you may be wary on due to your lack of spice friendliness.
Again, you keep bringing this up. My problem is literally that there's a point where you lose flavor for spice. And it seems to be that's the case. That's my problem, right?
A jalapeno limeade.
See, I don't know how I feel about spice in a drink. I want something refreshing, and I feel like that would not be.
But it is really good. I would say maybe if you mix it with like a hard spirit, that it might work better than just drinking it straight. But I
Throw
can
some
do
rum, throw some cola in there, you'll be good.
maybe. But and I know I mentioned this maybe here before, maybe on Elden Ring, but maybe on a different game. But I did have a jalapeno strawberry energy drink one time, and
I remember you talking about this.
yeah, and that was really amazing. And it's kind of like I get the sweetness from the lemonade first, and then it has a bite of the jalapeno afterwards. So
Don't know how I feel about the idea of a spicy drink. It just does not sound tasty to me.
eh,
I mean, I'd be willing to try it. I just don't think it would be something I'd want to drink, like, on
yeah,
a consistent basis.
yeah, that's what I was saying, to be wary on it.
It doesn't sound appetizing is probably the best way to say it.
But I mean, I'm sure like people would be like, "Oh man, this is really good. This is really good."
I mean, I'm sure there's some crazy people that will say that, and to them I will say, how is it refreshing when it is burning your throat?
I also see that
You're drinking a literal poison.
I also see that Miyazaki's latest movie, How Do You Live, will not get much promotion for it.
Miyazaki is in Ghibli, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it is based on a book, and like kind of a famous book, and they're like, oh, the book will be promotion enough. So
I don't know if that... Maybe in Japan that'll be the case. I don't know about worldwide when it gets released that way.
maybe, but I guess they're wanting to kind of, I forget what the article said. Let me just pull it up here. Okay, it actually shares the title with the book, but it's a very loose adaptation of the book.
I still don't think it would be enough.
how do I put this? Suzuki expands. As part of company operations, Ghibli has wanted people to come see our movies being made. So we thought about that, done a few things on purpose, but this time we were like, we don't really need to do that.
I'm going to disagree. Again, maybe in Japan it'd be fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree on a worldwide audience.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting because I've been hearing about this movie for a while, and it's, from what I understand, far more normal and far less fantasy than Miyazaki's typical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's getting up there, so this may be his last movie.
He says that all the time.
Yeah. He's like, oh, this is my last movie. No, this is my last movie.
I'm going to retire. What the fuck are you idiots doing? Fuck it, I gotta get back into this. You people don't know anything.
I'm coming out of retirement for the 5th time.
Because these idiots don't know what they're doing. Anime was a mistake.
Oh, Miyazaki. You're amazing. So,
I don't really have anything. More Dead Cells. More fun. Not really much else to bring up on that.
You play Vampire Survivors lately?
Nope. I honestly haven't touched it, surprisingly enough.
I saw they had a new DLC, 99-cent DLC or something like that.
Oh, actually, speaking of them, did you hear that apparently it's going to have an animated Netflix series now?
Nani?
I don't know how the fuck they're going to do that.
I haven't played it in a while, but I would say maybe have some of the base characters, like the day one unlocked, the core 5 or 6 base characters, and have them being the main cast. Because
there's absolutely no story to any of it.
Well, usually 4 locations make a story.
I mean, I'm sure the DLC has added more locations, but what are they making? Like, I know there's like a bestiary to see all the enemies and have like backgrounds and shit on that, and I guess some of the characters have like backstory and shit that have been written. I don't know how the fuck you tie all that together, because from my understanding, all that shit is just literally all over the place with almost no connections.
It's just flavor text.
Oh, I don't know, man.
It would be very
of all the things to get an animated series. This was the last thing I expected.
Would you have expected Cyberpunk to get an anime adaptation?
I mean, I don't know if I would have gone specifically animated, but an adaptation, yes, it would not have shocked me. You have an entirely fleshed out world in there, at least, right? Plus, it's not just the game that actually has like book backgrounds to work with. Vampire Survivors is literally a 99-cent game that came out that literally nobody thought would be like as addictive as it is, and had nothing to it, and now it's getting a fucking series out of nowhere.
And didn't it start its own genre, kind of?
I would argue it popularized that genre. I think it existed prior to this. It just wasn't really looked at too much.
Where you are the Denmaku.
But there are games like, say, Ikaruga and stuff that eventually start turning into that. Not to the same degree, but it definitely starts to get that feel.
I've heard of Ikaruga. But, yes. Today we are covering Thus Spoke Kishiki Rohan.
And Kishiki? Who's that?
Am I pronouncing his name? Crap.
Kishibe.
Thank you.
It's a B. It's not a K.
It's not in front of me. Thus spoke Kishibe Rohan. And now we'll cut to Orion to see what he thinks of this anime.
It's like Godzilla's Shakespeare or something.
Godzilla
I'm thinking Rodan. Never mind. I'm gonna go with that though. giant monsters, but like with Shakespeare. They're
Okay.
like it's like Shakespearean twist with kaijus and like space monsters and stuff.
So it's going to be like Shakespearean dramas with giant monsters.
Yeah. But like obviously they don't really talk, so it's just them like it's a lot in the facial expressions. It's probably a pretty animated show to really convey their feelings and stuff.
I was about to say, are we gonna see like Godzilla and the other monsters just gonna start doing slam poetry?
Yeah, or they could just have like inner monologues.
Start snapping their fingers. Yeah, man.
All West Side Story, I think.
Yeah, they start snapping their fingers.
Oh my god, it's the Sharks and the Jets.
I am not familiar with Broadway musicals, except for the Monty Python one, Spam-A-Lot. Like, that's the only Broadway...
I'm so disappointed in you. You haven't watched the musical Cats? What is wrong with you?
Dude.
It may have been on, like, PBS, like 20, 30 years ago, and I may have seen that.
Should we subject ourselves to that movie?
No.
That was a very fast answer.
I hate Cats. The musical.
I was about to say, your fucking icon is a cat.
Yeah, I love
Can't hate 'em that
Cats,
much.
but not that. I
But
do
Orion,
like musicals.
they're jellicle cats. Come on.
What does that word even mean?
It's missing one letter.
Oh, okay. Maybe?
Actually, it's missing 4 letters. Sorry, I mathed terribly. It is missing 4 letters.
Okay. So, Shakespearean Godzilla monsters. Anything else, Ryan?
No, that's about it.
Wow, a segue in the Orion Guesses segments. I don't think that ever happened.
He got one scarily close, and now he is just completely off in another world.
Thank you, Ryan, for your thoughts. They are probably quite comical and or interesting.
He has made so many opinions that I just can't help but laugh at all the time.
We will laugh long and hard into the night. This felt so un-JoJo to me.
Why? Because there was no stand battles? Like, what particularly stood out?
And because it was mostly horror?
I mean, it's definitely got that feel to it.
Yeah, not saying JoJo isn't horror, because season 4 dealt with a murder mystery about a serial killer. Mm-hmm. So, horror-esque elements there.
Like, I guess in most of the cases here, other than I think one of them, I would say, our main character isn't taking an active role in any of this, really. He's just relaying what he's seen, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Which I remember hearing that I think the original title of this was Kishibe Rohan Never Moves.
Well, that's just a lie. We see him move. He takes a hike up the mountain at one point.
No, because it was going to be him relaying information to the audience. Alfred Hitchcock Presents. That was Rocky's inspiration for this.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that at all?
I'm pretty sure at minimum, I have heard people talk about it.
To the best of my knowledge, that's the one where there's an outline of Hitchcock. He walks up to the outline, he pauses for a minute, and then starts talking.
Mm-hmm.
So, this was originally going to be based on just Rohan sitting down in a chair talking to somebody about weird things he's seen.
I mean, that's technically what happens.
Yeah?
He's sitting at a cafe talking to one person or another about some weird shit that happened.
I don't know what the live action series does because I was glancing at the equivalent of episode 3, and it seems that they like flesh it out a bit more to fit in the 40-some minute time slot of the live action thing. Mm-hmm. So maybe they just added plots about his rivalry with Rohan, and maybe just Rohan off on his own. So, yeah.
The weirdest part, right? Mm-hmm. Like, out of like the way that they decided to do this show, is that Josuke isn't here at all. He's there once at one point, I think at the end of the 3rd episode, sitting at the table, but he doesn't talk and you don't see his face. But you can see his hair.
And I know that Rohan mentioned once my encounter with that punk, and then you see Josuke's hair.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, I'm pretty sure at one point... See, here's the thing. I'm not sure 100% when these encounters take place, right? Like, the first one is clearly after the events of episode... of part 4, right? Because Koichi's talking about going to Italy for part 5. Then there's other points where Rohan's talking and he's like, I literally don't have anywhere to live because Josuke basically burned down my fucking house.
And because like the first episode is episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
Did that throw you at all?
You know, I hadn't actually noticed that.
You didn't?
No.
Huh. Because I saw episode 5 come up and I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm like, yes, this is episode 1. What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hold on. I'm like going through the intro now to see if that's what was there.
Yeah,
because I'm not seeing episode 5 at all. No, weird. Okay, never mind. Hold up. For me, the first episode is called episode 16. I hadn't actually noticed that.
Oh, so we watched them in a different order.
Yeah, my first one is the confessional, followed by the hill, the village, and then the run.
Okay, I had the village, the hill, the run, confessional.
Okay, weird. Okay, so Netflix has it in a completely different order then. That's weird. So maybe yours is more in the order it should have been done in then.
Actually, it was done in a release order.
Which is probably the accurate order. Because if that's the case, then that means that this is happening in the chronological order it should be. Right? Like...
The village was...
Yeah.
The one where he's going to... Confession was the one where he's going to Italy at the end.
Yeah, which should be the last one if we're going in chronological order.
Maybe. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering why they're titled like 16 and stuff, because that... I'm trying to think, like, is that where it's supposed to slot in like part 4's episodes? But I don't think 16 would be after everything, so that should be way later.
I wonder what the manga... Nope. The manga had At a Confessional as the first episode, well, chapter, although they're called episodes in Shonen Jump.
Interesting. So then that means that they did these probably in the release order then? If that was the first one?
Maybe.
Either way, it definitely feels like it kind of jumps around from when these happen as far as within part 4's timeline.
I do know... Wait, do they have the live action one on here? Oh, okay. According to the live action one, the village was the first episode, the 4th one was the run, and then the 6th one was the Hill. It doesn't appear that they have the confessional in live action yet.
So I would here's the way I would look at it, right? In my mind, I would follow whatever Iraqi released. That would probably be the official release order. Either way, it's weird the way it's ordered for either one of us from the sound of it.
Yeah.
So I've got to ask.
Yes.
Before we really start digging into these, out of the four of them, which one is your favorite?
I like the Millionaire Village one.
Okay, interesting, because mine is the Hill.
I mean, these were good. These were Iraqi.
I don't know. It's either the Hill or the Confessional. I have a hard time deciding which one I like better.
Yeah, but
like, part of me is like, I want to follow up on what is going on with this Confessional.
But like the Millionaire Village one, like to me, like that was just so interesting. It's like, what is going on?
I'm watching that and I'm like, oh, this is just John Ken again. Okay, you just got to follow the rules of the game. Got it. You can't cheat. Actually, no, I lie. The Run was the one that made that come to my mind. Oh, God. It was weird watching the Confessional first because in my mind, I'm like, oh, we're just going to follow this story where Rohan goes back and figures out what's going on with this shit. Only to get thrown with the Hill next.
You're like,
but
what?
Wait, what's going on? Aren't we following this other thing?
Nope.
Oh, man. All right, so which one do we want to start with? Since we're in different orders.
Do you want to go with the release order?
I was going to say, how about, what is your least favorite? We can start from those if we want.
I would have to think which is my least favorite. Screw it. Let's just go with the release order. Oddly, because one came out sometime in 2017. It doesn't say when. Then July 19th, 2018, and then the final two both came out December 8th, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why they haven't been any since then. Maybe because the live action kind of overwrote the need. That's it. The following year, the live action series started, so...
But, you know, with its horrible CG and the awful book placed over someone's face.
But I would just say David Production is amazing at what they do.
They are, which is why everything I'm hearing about the way Part 6 went makes me very not happy.
Why?
A lot of what I've heard about Part 6 is that it feels like a downgrade.
It's not David Production?
It is David Production. It just feels like the quality is down.
Oh, damn.
And like certain aspects of like... It's actually a good thing that you read the manga because there's certain aspects of the manga that don't seem to have transitioned well.
Oh.
Like a perfect example of that, we're kind of going on a small tangent here, but a perfect example of that is like, remember when Stone Free first appears in Part 6 and she punches what's-her-face through the bars?
Gucci?
I can't remember her name. It's the first person that like makes her tiny, right, and puts her in the rat suit.
Yeah, I forget. Well, I do remember that part.
Yeah, but punches her through like the steel bars of like the prison bar or the prison door, right? Where in the manga it shows like the individual threads going around those bars and punching her in the face. In I guess the anime, it kind of just seems like it's phasing through for no reason. And that's just one of the more minor details from what I understand.
Well, we will be covering Part 6 in a few months, so we'll...
When Orion's back.
Yes.
We'll drag him back in kicking and screaming. No, I don't want more stands. No.
Let's just go into release.
I can't guess what they do. I have no idea.
How does King Crimson work?
I don't know.
So let's just do it in the release order. Millionaire Village.
Ah, yes. What I would argue. No, I would say this is my second least favorite. The Run is probably my least favorite.
Yeah, Rohan's editor is talking to him, and she's like, hey, want to take a trip up to the mountains?
She's like, there's this thing you should buy. You should buy this millionaire village, this millionaire estate up there in the middle of nowhere. And he's like, I literally bought 6 mountains and I'm bankrupt. What do you want from me? I can't buy shit.
I did them for research.
Research?
Must do research.
Jackie, stands must defeat stands. It works so well in this too.
Now I'm thinking of Uncle with a stand. Why did you put that thought in my head? And I love it so much.
It would work so well. I would love it. Oh my god. Fucking Jackie Chan Adventures with JoJo stands? Holy shit. You grab the talisman, you suddenly have a pig stand. It's this big buff quirky pig that shoots heat beam eyes.
So they argue about, like, no, I can't do it. So
and she goes, no, I meant I'm going to buy it. His editor. Mm-hmm. Or one of his editors, I guess.
Yeah.
And she's like, look, there's this thing. Apparently, like, all these people bought these things when they were 25, and it led them to become millionaires. They were just, regular old Joes prior to this. And she's like, you want to watch this for research, right? To see how this happens? Poor Rohan's only 27. He's too old. He can't be rich like this.
This is interesting.
Either way, it piques his interest as long as he's not the one paying.
Right.
So, got to trick up the mountains, and I'm trying to figure out as I'm watching them, I'm like, what season is it? Because they're dressed up like they're going mountain climbing, and it's going to be fucking cold.
Yeah, like, when does this all take place within the JoJo Season 4 continuity?
It's a good question. Like, Season 4 takes place within a single year.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out, like, what season is it? Everything's still green. It's not like this is fall, so are we in, like, early spring? What's going on here? Because that is some heavy-looking clothing for this. Especially when you're climbing a mountain and you're getting, like, exhausted doing so. Like, unless it's just that high up that it gets colder as you get higher.
Maybe.
But there's no snow or anything.
Right.
Also, it must be close to spring because they find a baby bird, like a little chick that fell out of the nest.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be spring.
That his editor puts in a little box. Oh, we'll take care of you when we come out.
Yeah, when we're finished here, we'll put you back in the nest, buddy. You can't be late for our important meeting.
Oh, but before we go in, what's the proper etiquette to take off your jacket?
Rohan, you can't think you're better than everyone. This is all about manners. It's the one rule. You have to have manners. He's basically, like, very insulted. Like, what did you say? What are you trying to say about me?
Do you know what to do?
I've done research.
I know to take off my jacket before I enter.
Cool. You did the barest minimum of, like... we will find this out as this episode goes along, but she did, like, a fucking glance at this shit from the sound of it. She did not do intensive study.
While Rohan was studying every rule ever.
I don't think he was. I think he got lucky on some of this shit.
Oh, okay.
Because he didn't know about any kind of studying until they were there.
Should I pull out my phone and check the internet? How do you properly pick up a teacup?
See, here's the thing. I'm kind of surprised that she didn't attempt it, only to find out that there's no signal. Considering it's so isolated up there, and I would assume that the only way you're getting signal is through someone's Wi-Fi that you don't have the password for.
Mm. So this creepy looking boy says like,
Who
hey,
has like, I would almost say blacked out eyes.
I was going to say some kind of insect eyes.
Like there's the barest rim of white around those things because those like black parts of his eyes are so massive. Like the barest rim of white.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
He's very disturbing.
I'm like, interesting designer, Rocky. Oh,
well, if this is a horror anthology, the way it seems, he's definitely putting you off of this character with these eyes.
Yeah. And he was saying like, oh, come, sit down, and I will be right back. I will talk to the boss to see if he wants to see you.
So now here's the question. Who's the boss, do you think? Because they mention, I believe it's the person that owns the number one mansion, I think at some point she says that.
I'm guessing, and this will be a spoiler for the rest of the episode, but the god of the mountain?
I think it's plural, but yes. That's where I was leaning to.
Mm-hmm. Because he brings in tea and says, oh, like, I just decided to bring you some tea while we wait. Please, don't mind me.
But don't forget, they also had to remember to set their shoes facing the door.
Mm-hmm,
that was proper etiquette, and Rohan almost didn't do it.
Do you know why that is?
I'm not 100% sure what the reasoning is.
We're not into Japanese etiquette.
Look, we don't live there. We're not hyper aware of this stuff. Also, here's my next question, because I noticed this, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe this is just the traditional style, but did it seem to you that all of the, what do they call it? The furniture inside of that room that they go to is way too small?
I did not notice that.
Even the chairs have, again, maybe this is just the Japanese style of things, but they're super low to the ground. You have the classic super low table that you would be kneeling at normally. Even like the dresser that's on the side looks like it's shorter than it should be.
Oh,
like, it looks like it barely comes up to what would be Rohan's stomach, if that.
Okay. Now that you do mention it, yes, the couch did seem kind of low, and maybe that's just a Japanese style, maybe?
Well, so here's what I was thinking. I'm like, because at this point, I'm like, something's fucked up with this mountain somehow. I don't know what it is. I'm like, does everyone here shrink somehow?
Do they all become a child?
Yeah, like with the guy there, our little butler dude, I'm like, do they all get short like him? What is going on? Do they shrink? Is that the curse?
No.
Are we going to have a green baby situation?
green grass of home.
But yeah, he comes in. You gotta properly do your tea. Do it the right way. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't mention about like adding cream or sugar or anything to it, considering that they did have stuff there, I thought.
Mm-hmm. And she picks up the teacup. Oh, I'm sorry. The master doesn't want to see you.
Yup, you fucked up. You fucked up 3 times. Well, even afterwards, Rohan is like, do you know how to do the tea right? She's like, I studied this. I know.
No, you don't.
Nope. You fucked up. We gave you 3 shots. You fucked it up. All 3 strikes are gone.
And then everything starts bleeding. So
not
much.
Yet.
Oh.
Like, what was the first thing that she did?
She stepped on the corner of the tatami mat.
The edge of the tatami mat was one. The second one, I think, was sitting furthest away from the door.
Yes. Which is the host seat.
Mm-hmm. And what was the third one?
No. It was facing the door. All guests must face away from the door.
Oh. Interesting.
At least that's what I thought it was.
Hold on, I'm looking here. Hold on. It just says you should sit nearest to the door.
Okay.
Good manners to remain there until you meet the host. Yep, tatami mats was the second one, and third was the tea. You're not supposed to put your finger through the teacup's handle. which I think is very strange. That's a very strange etiquette.
You supposedly pick it up by the edge of the handle?
Like, you hold the handle, but you don't loop your finger through. Apparently, that's extremely vulgar for some reason.
Why?
I don't know. It seems very strange and arbitrary.
Maybe it's perceived as sexual?
I don't know. Either way, she fails. And as a result, she failed 3 times, and she loses 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
The first, her mom. The second, her boyfriend. Both of which were apparently in a car accident that an emergency number is calling her about. And the third is the baby bird.
And that bleeds so much.
Yeah, for some reason it has so much blood, and I don't understand why. Like, that seems excessively painful for the bird that had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, it was like...
I just realized something.
What?
It's Araki saying that the mountain is evil.
Oh!
Just like with all his villains hurt poor innocent animals to prove that they're evil.
Oh!
Like,
yes!
fucking Dio jumping out of that goddamn carriage and just fucking kneeing poor Jonathan's dog.
Yes, yeah. Oh, I thought the dog was going to attack me.
He was totally going to attack me. You saw it. This is totally Araki just being like, yep, this mountain's evil. See, it killed a poor innocent bird that had nothing to do with anything.
But Rohan, it's time for you to be tested. How do you properly eat corn?
No. You're missing a part here. She asks to try again, and that's when the kid runs off to try and be like, oh, let me consult, and I will see if they will give you a second attempt.
And
during that time, all this shit goes down with like the chick, the brother, or the boyfriend and shit, right?
Yeah.
He comes back, and he's like, it's very insulting to ask for a second try, and thus you lose something else, or whatever. Or was it that Rohan had already fucked up?
I don't believe Rohan screwed up then.
Was it Rohan? No, I remember what it was. It was because Rohan decided to use Heaven's Door to figure out who this butler was. And that was very rude. And as a result, his editor now has a heart attack.
So Rohan, how do you eat corn?
Yes, I want to try again. How do you eat corn, Rohan?
A fork, a knife, or chopsticks?
Trick question. Spoon!
But what kind of a trick question? Because the proper etiquette is to hold it with your hands.
Or is it?
Or is it corn holders?
Yes, is it corn holders? Or perhaps the kid fucks up first, and thus it is him getting the punishment before Rohan would. Because as he was a book, Rohan decides to write in that he can't see the edges of the tatami mats. So the kid keeps stepping on him.
Yes. Which I thought was awesome. Because I'm like, damn, Rohan, you are fast at writing.
How the fuck do you think he gets his manga done in like a week? Right? Like a 40-some page manga. Do you not remember how quickly he draws? Like, it took him 5 minutes to write I think it was like a 7 or 8 panel page thing during part 4.
And isn't it that he signed somebody's autograph in like 1 second?
Yeah, he literally sat there with his like straw that was in an iced coffee, I think it was, and just flicked it around, and all of a sudden his autograph was just stuck to the paper that they were asking for, as his other editor was like, nah, man, we're busy here, can't you see? You gotta go away, we can't do autographs now.
But wait, the older looking guy, he was in part 4 as a stand user.
I can't remember which one he was, but yes, he was.
Okay, was the other one there?
Yeah, he was the lock dude.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Rohan kind of saves everything then by making the kid super cursed.
And because of that, he gained something, which was the return of everything that his editor lost, which I feel like that's unfair to a certain degree. So this lady fucked up 3 times. She lost 3 things. Rohan succeeds at 1 thing, and he gets all the shit she lost back.
Maybe it's because the kid kept stepping on the mats that his bad karma translated into good karma for her.
I feel like that doesn't make sense. I don't know. The rules of this, the way they were set up, seems to like say otherwise, but you know. Also, I just noticed something. So I'm looking at Rohan's outfit in this episode, right? And literally, like, the straps that are supposed to, I guess, hold the jacket on or like together are just pens. They're just ink pens. Like, it's just the design of ink pens turned into like a little belt strap.
Rocky fashion for you.
Oh yeah.
Like, that is just one thing. I'm going off in a small JoJo tangent here, but I remember this one guy reviewing JoJo fashion, and just some of his comments were pretty funny, and I'm just like, yeah, Rocky has a weird taste in fashion.
It's a very interesting fashion choice, too. Some of them, right? Like, part 6, part 3, I feel like was probably some of the most normal fashion there.
Yeah.
At least on the main characters.
Yeah, but part 5, ooh boy.
The Swiss cheese suit jacket.
And the one guy's like nearly open shirt that's like 60% open.
Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, man. You don't like zipper coat?
Zipper coat was interesting. So,
but yes, the story essentially ends with them leaving the mountain and swearing never to come back.
Oh, everybody just thought my mom was dead because she was unresponsive in the car accident, but she's actually alive.
I guess the same was true of the boyfriend. I both were identical.
And the baby bird is perfectly fine.
Apparently it's alive. Just fine.
Rohan, is this story actually true?
Here's the thing, right? These are stand users asking another stand user, did this actually happen? You idiots, what have you... Do you not remember what you've seen?
Maybe because stands weren't involved is so unbelievable to them.
The mountain itself could have a stand. Who knows? You've seen rats with stands.
The mountain has a stand.
You laugh. Wait till we get to part 7.
What?
Yeah.
I only got like 10 chapters into part 7.
Yeah, wait till we get further in part 7.
Holy shit, dude.
That's part of the reason we have this, like, the reboot after 6 is, like, Araki wanted to rethink what the fuck a stand actually was or could do. Because by the end of part 6, he's running out of places to go.
Time to reboot!
Time to reboot and rethink where I was coming from on this. Alright. The mountain itself has a stand.
And then another one of Rohan's editors in the next episode.
Which one is the next one?
The Hill.
Ah, yes. My favorite one. Okay.
Yes.
This is where we get the coffee autograph.
And these can't be... I'm not too sure because Rohan also explains that he also bought some money by mountains. So
this is because I think this is supposed to be the beforehand. This is the mountains he bought that in the mansion one, he mentions having bought these mountains.
Ah, okay.
This is supposed to chronologically come before it.
Okay.
But yes, he bought literally 6 mountains to make sure that some moron, I guess, wouldn't build a road through it that would disturb the spirit he believes is hiding in this other mountain that he wanted to find.
Matsukabe-zuka?
Matsukabe, it just, maybe, I don't know. Matsukabe Hill is what the title of it is. But I don't know if there's another title while watching the show off the top of my head.
Which this was called episode 2, which was the only one that was right.
I do want to also say, right?
Mm-hmm.
This other editor, I would wear his fashion. I like it. I think it looks good.
Yes.
Decent fashion. A little weird that he's got like a blue hat with white polka dots to go with his like mauve shirt.
Kind of. But I guess JoJo fashion for you.
Right. Yeah, because like I have no shit. That motherfucker burned down my house. Can you give me my money ahead of time, please?
Why?
Have you bought some mountains in a village resort?
Yes. I am out of money. I am bankrupt.
Yeah, I bought those. I bought those for research. I'm out of money. Hey, look, it's research. Can't you get... Then again, this is Japan, so I don't fucking know. But can't you make that a tax write-off?
I don't know, like, Japanese tax write-off.
It was for the job. Can I write this off on my taxes?
But yeah, this woman named Naoko, she has a secret lover.
Well,
a gardener.
Hold on. So one last little tidbit. So when Rohan bought all these mountains and the guy ended up scrapping his plans, the value of the mountains suddenly plummeted.
Oh.
Well, now this is why he's bankrupt.
Yeah.
He can't just sell them anymore because they're worth so much less.
Hmm.
Unless, of course, and this is in my mind, he finds gold in there or some kind of precious metal in those mountains.
Ooh.
He might be sitting on something that would make him even more rich.
But would there be? Due to the
You don't know.
spirits?
I don't know. These hills aren't part of that spirit thing. Who knows? I don't know if these 6 mountains have a stand.
You know, that could explain these hauntings so much. They're just actually stands.
To be fair, I honestly thought the first one that I watched, the Confession, was literally a stand. Especially after like reading part 6. It feels like it's straight taken from that, or this was taken, or it was taken from this into part 6.
Because, well, Confession was 97, so maybe?
Yeah, it seems like if this was first produced in 97, it feels like this idea might have been plucked out and then repurposed into a stand for part 6.
Because I believe the editor of Shonen Jump at the time was saying, like, you can't do spin-offs, you must only do your main work. And I think at that time, JoJo was part of Shonen Jump, or one...
This has been bugging me. You mean Shonen Jump with an N, not a J?
Shonen?
Yeah. Unless Shojin is a completely different magazine I'm not aware of.
Isn't that what I was saying?
You kept saying Shojin.
I'm sorry. I meant Shonen.
Yeah, you kept pronouncing it with a J.
I'm mispronouncing everything today.
It seems like it.
But maybe because Shonen didn't have a no spin-off policy, that's why Rohan was just like so small of a part in any of these.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, hey, here's a story.
Here's a little omake.
Yeah. But yeah, a woman named Naoko has a secret lover, the gardener Gunpei.
Ah, man, he's such a good-looking guy, you know. Playing his video games on what I think was a PlayStation 1? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a PlayStation 1. No, maybe it's a 2, because it does have analog control. Analog sticks.
This was the equivalent of 2008 when the manga was published, so possibly.
Yeah, I would think PS2, or at least, as close to an equivalent as you can get in this.
I know late PS1 had the analog stick as a thing.
And then maybe that's it. Well, if this is taking place in 99, then this story, I think, is taking place, like, at least 10 years prior. Maybe PS1?
Yeah, potentially
like
PS1. Yeah.
Also, anyway.
Yeah, and she says, "You have to leave. My dad and my fiance are coming." No, you're just saying that.
Nah, you don't actually have another boyfriend. It's fine.
No, you have to leave. Leave.
He tosses him an envelope full of money to go.
Yeah. No. Why are you telling this? You can't be serious. And then she gives him a little shove, and he.
Also, I just realized that envelope's full of like 10,000 yen bills.
I did notice that. So she rich.
She's oh yeah, that's the whole point. They own the entire property on the mountain. This is like, I guess, a side house. This isn't even the main one.
That's why she said, "Go back and wait in the main house. I'll be right with you."
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying that for the audience's sake.
Okay. So she gives him a light shove, and he trips, falls onto some golf clubs, and dies.
Well, she's not the one that kind of start this. Like, he's kind of on top of her, groping her. She pushes him off. He slaps her, immediately realizes he's fucked up, and apologizes. And then she kind of just shoves him away, and then the golf clubs.
Okay. And then she's like, "Oh, you can't be dead."
Well, she's like talking to him while she's watching her fiance and dad come up the walkway.
Yeah. And
it's only when she turns around that she realizes something's wrong.
Yeah. And she sees blood dripping from one of the golf clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, he's dead.
But she's kind of in denial because she doesn't believe it. She thinks he's just fucking with her.
And then the dad and boyfriend are like, "Hey, we're here. Let us in."
Yeah, you sure you're there? And then for a second, they're like, "I don't know. Maybe she's not there." And then I think, like, there was no butler, so I guess it must be the fiance saying he thought he saw movement inside her.
Yeah.
Because at first I thought it was a butler or something, the way the subtitles were written out. If there was only the two of them, it had to have been the fiance then. So they're like, "Oh, let us in."
So eventually she said, like, "Okay, I'm here, but I'm getting dressed. You don't want to come in now, do you?"
You can't come in. I'm in the middle of getting dressed. And then there was another point where she talks about her cleaning.
Yeah.
And she'll meet them at the main house. It's like, man, you got a couple of excuses here, girl.
All the while, he's still bleeding. More and more blood.
Look, you got a puncture from a golf club, which I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of surprised that would even happen, but
Yeah, but all the blood keeps pouring out.
Yep. So she's got to quick hide the body, hide the shoes. Quick takes off the nightie that she's wearing so it won't get stained.
More and more blood.
Just keeps bleeding. She's trying to like hold a cloth to the back of the thing. It just keeps bleeding through.
She like bandages the cut, like the bandages that explode.
She literally just infects it too.
And she like stitches this shut at one point.
Yeah, she slaps like a bunch of medical tape on it to hold it down. Didn't work. It kind of explodes, bleeding more out.
Stitches this shut. The stitches explode with more blood.
Well, and as he's bleeding out, you can see him getting thinner and thinner, like he's dehydrating completely, like he's mummifying.
So she eventually wraps him in a carpet.
Oh, you forgot another part. She heats up a spoon and tries to cauterize it so it like, seals shut.
Yeah, but but the spoon just goes through his skull.
Yeah, and he bleeds more. Meanwhile, the father has left, and now the fiance is there saying like, "Oh, your dad gave me a key so we could be alone together for a bit." And he probably hears her screaming about this the whole time.
Yeah.
But eventually, as he's like, "I knew it. There was somebody else in there," he goes to open the door. She quickly rolls up Gunpei's body, throws him on top of a fucking fridge, drags the fridge over in front of like the walkway that would lead to the kitchen. Somehow at some point cleans up the blood that was part of the drag marks before the door opened.
Somehow.
And when he opens the door, she's like cleaning the fridge. It's fine. Or the back of the fridge, I guess, because the front's covered in blood. Or not, because I'm looking at it now. That's the front of the fridge. She must have like gotten that cleaned off somehow. And the blood on the golf clubs, because I can see the club that pierces his head in the corner of the screen, and it doesn't have any blood on it. She is just a miracle cleaner, I swear.
She has a cleaning stand.
Uh-huh. Hey, look, we found a face swapping stand, man. All right. Don't joke. That was actually in part 4.
Yes, I remember that.
But yeah, fiance walks in, looks around. Everything seems all right, you know?
Well,
Like, I guess, you know, everything checks out. Everything's good. I'll meet you at the main house, I guess.
See you later, babe.
Yeah, we'll catch you when you're done. All the while, she's literally got like a straw or something stuck into the back of Gunpei's head and is having to drink the blood that's draining out because it will not stop.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's going to splatter and show everyone, hey, there's some fucked up shit happening right now.
So she needs to keep him in a coffin with a little tap on. That
also, I will point out, this lady must be a great ventriloquist because she's both drinking this blood and talking to her fiance at the same time.
Yeah.
Goddamn, multi-talented.
And she takes this blood out every morning to dump it down the sink.
Well, after she manages to actually hide the body somewhere.
Yeah.
In that side house. But yes. Apparently, he bleeds consistently. He only bleeds more erratically when you move the body. So, like you said, as it drains, she'll every morning get rid of the excess blood down the drain. And this is after what, like a year later at this point, after she has now married her fiance?
Something like that.
Yeah, and she had to move the body at some point because the side house got destroyed. So I believe it's in some kind of crawl space above their closet, is what was said.
I think. Yeah, and whenever he's sprayed with a mist of water, he becomes rejuvenated.
He looks like he did before he died.
Which is just weird. Like, why?
I mean, you know, I'm more curious how she figured that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how?
I'm less curious about like the fact that it happens. I'm more curious about the fact that she found out. And how that happened. Like, was she cleaning something at some point and just was like, oh my God, look at his face.
Oh, his face is looking pretty dusty these days. Better give it a little clean.
Or was it like something where when she was moving the body, some of her sweat on moving it dripped on him and it like made the skin look different?
Maybe.
Like, wait, what? What happens if I spray him with water? Or they put more water on him? Either way, she develops what would essentially be a necrophilia thing for this body.
Basically.
Except, you know, it's not actually dead, I guess.
Maybe?
Because apparently she has a child with this supposed corpse.
Yeah?
Yeah, apparently Rohan accidentally ran into this lady and just heavens doored her face to find out about this shit. Yeah, he must have bumped into her on the mountain and found out about it. And he's like, now what the fuck is this thing? Now I gotta investigate. Only, you know, while he's talking to, I guess, the guy that wants to buy the mountains off him at this point, gets distracted with a phone call, and he's like moving toward like the main section of this mountain, only to run into what we assume must be the daughter. Which, again, I'd be curious how the husband isn't like, why is this girl a different looking girl than me?
Oh, she takes after me more.
Neither one of us have anyone in our family with these golden eyes. How does she have these?
Oh, my great-grandmother had golden eyes.
Not according to the pictures we have, man.
I'm just trying to explain it away through, like...
Yeah, I know. You're trying to put up a lens, and I'm like, nah, that don't work, though.
She's wearing contacts in those pictures.
Those didn't exist.
You're right.
We'd be talking back in, like, the 1930s at that point. But yeah, Rohan runs into this daughter, who is like, oh, there are perverts around. I'm gonna go tell my mommy, and then trips and like falls on a rock. Like Rohan goes to grab her, doesn't touch her, but she trips anyway and cracks her head on a rock and starts bleeding out.
And Rohan thinks, this is just like the other time.
Shit, I read about this somewhere. I don't remember where, but I heard about this.
So he heaven doors her to not realize who he is.
So this is actually an interesting one, because we hadn't, at least with Rohan that I'm aware of, run into a point where he's using Heaven's Door on someone that's dying. I didn't realize that when a person dies and Heaven's Door is used, that the actual text inside would disappear. That's a new one.
Yeah. Because
I kind of assumed, like, I didn't think it was like the mind was what was having the writing on it. I assumed it would have been the history of the body.
But if you can, like, rewrite a person's thoughts with Heaven's Door, why wouldn't it be the mind?
Well, actually, that's the next question then, isn't it? Right? Especially about this. Because if he uses Heaven's Door on Gunpei, is there anything there? Because he's got to be alive in some capacity in order to, like, you know, produce the semen required to have a child.
Maybe it's more the yokai than Gunpei?
Are we going with a virgin birth, is what you're telling me?
No. I'm just saying it's not Gunpei's semen, but the yokai who is possessing Gunpei?
Is he even possessed, though, right? Because from the way I understood it, it was the woman that's being possessed here, Naoko, with the obsession. Like, Rohan at one point calls these creatures. Like, he's not even sure if they're spirits. So my question becomes, is Gunpei technically alive still?
I don't know.
Or is he only alive when, like, he gets sprayed with water then?
I don't know.
Like, that's where I'm running into. And I only just thought of that now. Of like, wait a minute, what happens with Gunpei then? Because he made a child. Like, how does this work?
Maybe the live action adaptation of this will give a little bit more information.
Maybe. But yeah, I'm like, how's that work?
Yeah, and it seems that the curse was going to come after Rohan next.
Well, yeah, because he killed her, quote unquote.
Yes.
Even though he didn't touch her. Like,
yes.
That's the other part I'm curious about. Is it just the impression that you're the one that killed her? That or like whatever these things are that triggers it?
Maybe.
Even though he could be like, I literally physically did not touch her. She did this on her own.
I was coming up here and I saw that she died.
I came up here, I went to grab her, I did not actually touch her, and she died. But yes, he manages to rewrite, she did not die, she does not know Rohan, and even if she would meet him, she cannot see him. And then she returned to normal, to curse, I guess, somebody else completely now.
Yes. Because it seemed that she knew who Rohan was. It's like, hey, you're that famous manga-ka, aren't you?
Yeah. She was aware of him by, like, reputation from the sound of it, and maybe pictures she had seen.
So, was the yokai targeting Rohan?
Well, that's the question, right? I think she mentioned she had seen him snooping around here before. And who knows, maybe she looked into, like, who is this person and found the details online. It wouldn't be hard considering how famous Rohan's supposed to be. That,
yeah.
You know, once she has a picture, she's like, oh, that's who this is.
I will get my vengeance, or I will get my curse on him? I don't know.
Like, wasn't it something like, I think at the end, like, the daughter's talking to her mom about how she's going to have a rich boyfriend or something?
Yeah.
So maybe this was her way of trying to get one ahead of time. But yeah, either way, like, I don't know. I like this one the most because of how fucked up it got real fast.
Yeah.
I do think Rohan is a little like, this isn't really my problem, so I'm just gonna let it go. He doesn't like try to fix the problem.
Throughout these 4 episodes, it seems that Heaven's Door shows up like less than 15 seconds throughout.
Yeah, I think in total, at most, I think Heaven's Door might have like a minute of screen time in all 4 of these episodes combined. Also, yeah, at the end of this, alien voice here.
Yes. In a series about stands.
Although I think he's missing his nose ring? I think he had a nose ring before.
In a series about stands, you don't see any stands.
You see a stand. It's there.
For less than a minute, though.
You're not having a stand battle for some reason. But,
right.
You know.
And we go on to your least favorite episode of the 4?
Which
The Run?
is The Run. Yeah, it's probably my least favorite.
Yeah,
that said, it's still good. It's just out of these 4, I think it's the weakest.
Yeah, but not saying you don't like it.
No, it's just the weakest of them, I think. It's set up to be a hell of a lot more interesting than it actually is.
Yeah.
Because Rohan's like, oh man, I fucked up. I fucked up so bad. I crossed a line I shouldn't have crossed. Oh man.
And this one seems to have the most involvement with Rohan.
Yeah, right? Like, where it's like almost an accidental one. It's when he wasn't pursuing himself. And it was one that happened out of happenstance. And this is the one where I'm like, oh, this is actually going to be a stand. And it wasn't.
Nope.
It literally looked like this is just a stand. This is just a stand, Rohan. Come on.
I'm just a little bit mad he didn't question things as a stand.
A little bit. Because, again, out of all 3 of these, this is the one that would be the most clear cut to just be straight up a stand. At this point in part 4, there were plenty of options where, like, stands were weird things. They didn't always stand side by side with someone. They were sometimes weird like that. Like, I think even some of them were just something that was inherited inside the body itself at that point.
And then you have the electrical tower.
Yeah, you had a literal electrical tower at one point. You had, what's his face? The alien dude who could just straight up transform into things.
But was that a stand?
Pretty sure in Iraqi's head it probably was a stand, but yes. But that's still my point. They had that idea of, like, it could be. That implanting was there. The idea was there. Whether or not it actually was, who knows? But that possibility is something that part 4 has. Which just seems to me that, like, this whole thing in The Run is totally just a stand. And a stand that Rohan accidentally walked into without realizing it.
Yeah.
Kind of like the John Ken kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, we meet Hashimoto Yoma, or I guess if we're talking about real people, Yoma Hashimoto. Like we're using the Americanized versions. Who got found by a street agent and is like, you'd be a great talent. And he starts becoming a model. You know, gets put in there, starts getting like bit parts on a movie set. And he starts, you know, doing his workouts, getting all sorts of good muscles going.
But he becomes obsessed with it.
It's weird. Like, it's not only that, he becomes hyper self-centered. Like, if someone's not paying attention to him in the way he thinks they should, he kills them at one point.
Yeah.
Hell, even a guy who is like, even like a delivery guy who comes in late and rings the doorbell to be like, hey, I got a package for you. He literally is next thing to ripping his head off.
Yeah, like, how dare you ring the doorbell 3 times?
I literally told you I go to sleep at this time. Stop fucking pushing it. I've told you how many times. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And the guy's just like, dude, it's just my job.
And so he does things like lifting weights. No, he has some kind of like weightlifting competition against Rohan, who's also at this gym.
Yeah, who was like lifting shit, and I'm like, Rohan's not this strong. Fuck off.
Right.
Rohan does not have those muscles. Also, we find out that he's living with his girlfriend in her apartment, and she's getting real upset with him because he keeps leaving his workout equipment out and is jump roping in the house.
And keeps buying things using her debit card.
Yep, keeps swiping her card and buying shit.
Hey, I'll pay you back. I'm getting a lot of money for my next role.
Which, to be fair, from my understanding, the way this is the way I read this, he is paying her back, but like in the meantime, she's out of fucking money.
Yes.
Like, fair, you're paying her. Unfair, you're literally stealing it without asking.
And he puts a rock climbing wall in her house?
I want to point this out too. He literally spent like, what was it? Almost 500,000 yen, I want to say it was.
On protein?
Fucking protein powder. It's like, it was a good deal, right? So I bought like a fucking, like 6 cases of it.
Hey, that's way better deal than whatever you gave me here. This carbs and fat.
Yeah, like a carbonara or whatever that she made up. Yeah, and he's like, nah, can't have any of that. I told you how many times.
I'm all protein now.
Can't have any of this shit.
Okay, I guess.
But yeah, Rohan's not that strong. He can't. I refuse to believe he could actually lift all that weight that quickly.
Yeah, because like, although Yoma catches up to him, they both hit 50 reps at the same time.
Yeah, like I can buy Rohan being a cardio man. I have a hard time believing he's lifting that much weight. Because that seems like a pretty hefty amount of weight for those skinny little arms that Rohan has.
Yeah. Because it's like, okay, maybe he's doing weightlifting research, but that would be insane. Like, I could see him doing like running research more so than weightlifting research.
Well, like I can see him doing the reps. I just can't see him doing the reps on that much weight for that many times.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like, again, to me, I'm having a hard time suspending my disbelief based on what I've seen of Rohan.
Of course.
But no, Ryoma was like, oh, I need you to train me to like one of the guys at the gym. He's like, oh, I'm busy with the client right now. You know, I'm going to have to train him first. He's paying. Guess that guy needs to die now. He's getting in the way of my muscles. I've got this sweatshirt that says fit. Can't you see? That means you need to train me.
Yeah. You must train me. I must be fit.
But yeah, she comes back, and like you said, he set up a rock climbing wall, not just in her house, but around every single inch of the walls and ceiling.
And outside!
Down the side of the building. Which, this is a rental apartment. He's doing this to the fucking, like, entire building.
Okay, that part made me laugh.
And like, holy shit. So he's doing this to get in and out of the apartment now? Wait, why didn't she notice this when she walked in? Because it seems like that's on the front.
Maybe she usually comes from the back of the apartment?
Maybe? I don't know. It's a little weird. It's just one of those things where I'm like, when did he set this up? Was she like in the shower or something? And he's like, put all this shit in?
Quick dry cement.
Is this part of the stand? Summoning fucking weight training and like other sorts of fucking athletic equipment.
Oh my god. Maybe.
That's part of the stand. He's selling weight training equipment.
So, he says to Rohan, like, hey, let's race.
Yeah.
These treadmills go faster and faster. They max out at 25 kilometers an hour.
We got a little tidbit on Usain Bolt, who can run at like 37 at some point.
Yes.
I also want to point out, they had done this prior, and Rohan had won due to maybe a little bit of trickery. Maybe.
And is that what we see in the very beginning of the episode?
Yes.
Okay.
And the only reason I say trickery is because rather than just grabbing the remote straight up, he tips the table so it flips over Yoma's hand. Which I would argue is more technique than trickery. That is kind of a legitimate thing to do, I would think. There was no specific rule against it. Like, this isn't a derby that's happening right now.
Yoma smashes the window.
Yeah, we're cranking up the heat. Yoma's like, nah, we're doing this for real, yo. And flips around, starts running backwards, which at first I thought was a technique. Because I'm like, well, you can use like kind of gravity to a certain extent to kind of like half fall, half run backwards faster, maybe?
Or more like, hey, look what I can do.
Or yeah, just a way to freak out Rohan, just being like mental gymnastics to mess with him. But no, he did that probably in part to mess with Rohan's head, but also so he could quickly grab one of the weights, like a 20-pound weight, and hook it at the window behind them. So that way, when the thing hits its max speed and you lose your step, you're going to get thrown out the window.
But wouldn't you like smash into the glass at 25 miles an hour and fall out anyway?
You could, I guess, yeah.
So why did he even have to break the window?
Again, I was going to say, then again, it would depend on how you hit, because rather than being at a specific point like the weight would have been, it would be your whole body smashing into it. So the surface area would probably disperse the actual impact more.
Potentially?
That would be the way I would think.
But
rather than, like, you know, taking a chance that it didn't do that, he made sure it did.
Okay.
Also, probably to fuck with Rohan, because it's like, now you gotta fucking do this the right way. Come on. Don't fuck up. The stakes are getting higher. You can't fuck it up.
At about 21 kilometers an hour, Rohan is struggling, so he goes to surrender and reach for the remote, but Yoma isn't having it and smashes Rohan's fingers.
Yeah, breaks his fingers. He's like, I left you a forefinger and a thumb. That way you can still press the remote. It's fair.
Mm-hmm.
And right at 25, Yoma manages to grab it, but not before Rohan manages to use Heaven's Door for its, 10-second appearance in this episode.
Yes.
So, interestingly enough, he does find out that he's Yoma has murdered people. The guy at his door, the delivery dude, he's murdered his girlfriend who kicked him out because she was tired of his shit.
And the 2 gym attendees?
At least one gym attendant that took away that personal trainer from him who was busy with another client. He murdered that client. And maybe one more, I'm not sure. But Rohan had quickly written that he would turn the remote and point it at his machine and turn off Rohan's machine.
So Yoma is flung out of the window and we don't know what happened to him. Potentially he's dead?
Rohan does not seem to think so. Rohan thinks he might have clung onto the side of the building or something. He does not chance it.
Yeah, so he's like, I'm not looking out that window. I'm just going to leave now.
Well, here's the thing, right? I would think Yoma would be after him now. Because he has to know, like, why would I turn my fucking hand and turn off his machine? Like, he must know something's wrong. If all Rohan wrote in there, which is what it seems like it is, was just to turn and point the remote at his machine. So, in my mind, Yoma is totally going to fucking murder Rohan. That would be his goal. Assuming he's not dead, which, from what Rohan says, he's like pretty certain Yoma did not die.
So, what did you think when the muscles started becoming shapes?
Oh, it's a stand. It's totally just a stand.
Not being possessed by a god?
No, I thought it was a stand. It seems straight up a stand.
A muscle stand.
Yes.
We
literally had a stand that could run at a certain speed and track you by smell in this series. In this part specifically. This is not the weirdest shit I've seen in part 4.
Was that Highway Star?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
fucking muscles and wings and shit. Like a fucking stand inspired by a Greek god. We had fucking part 3 where he had stands inspired by the fucking Egyptian gods. We literally had Anubis.
I was just going to bring him up.
Like, he literally looked like, at least, you know, when you actually got to see what he physically looked like, you got to see him and look like actual Anubis.
I think it may have been sidetracking Animaniacs, like the Anubis market where the food is so good you can eat it.
But yeah, to me, it just screamed, this guy's got a stand. Like, it's just what it is.
I don't know, but this is, you know, maybe because the live action Rohan just had a Rohan at the Louvre movie. Maybe since he's still in Venice, maybe this at the confessional will be the next live action episode?
It could be.
Yes, because Rohan is doing more research in Venice.
Yep.
About churches.
After Koichi talks about, hey, you got to write in me so I can speak Italian. He's like, let me tell you a story about when I was in Italy.
Wait. Who does more research, Rohan or Uncle?
I would argue Rohan, and that's only because Uncle is old and can only look at books right now. Rohan is actively going places to do his research.
Jackie, I must do research.
Jackie, have you heard of a stand? They call them that because they stand next to you.
That's the most stupid thing I've ever heard.
Someone's his own stand to smack Jackie in the head. Oh my god, Uncle, what was that? Only stand users can see other stands, Jackie. The entire time Uncle's had a stand, but because nobody else hadn't used one. Fucking Captain Black is just actually part of the Speedwagon Foundation.
We need this to happen now.
I don't believe in magic, but stands are a thing. I've seen them, Jackie.
We need this to happen.
Jackie, have you heard of a thing called the Pillar Men? See, way back in the World War II.
Oh, God.
I thought you would have heard about this. I thought you were an archaeologist. Yeah, they put this weird ring inside this guy's heart, and then he had to, like, drink an antidote to get it to dissolve. It was weird.
And there were cyborg Nazis?
Yeah, there was a cyborg Nazi? Yeah, you should have seen it. Vampires are totally real. I have heard and seen them. They are documented. But not this magic shit.
Captain Black, do you know how little sense that makes? You believe in stands, but not in magic.
I know what I said, Jackie.
So
we got the documents and photographic evidence to prove it's real. Hell, your uncle has a stand. Don't you know his actual name is fucking Junkle Joestar? Turns out Jackie's always had like a star fucking birthmark on the side of his neck.
And he didn't realize it.
Yeah, you know, we thought it was weird when we called you Jokey Chan. So we named you Jackie instead. Your middle name is Joseph, by the way.
So Rohan is going to Venice for some research about confessional boxes and stuff. For was he going to be writing a church-themed one-shot?
I think he was looking into like the religion aspect of it.
Okay.
More than anything else. I don't know if it was specifically going to be about church, but he didn't go into specifics, I don't think.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, he's there taking pictures of a confessional. He's Japanese, so he doesn't really know, the specifics and stuff. So he's like, oh man, maybe it'd be interesting to like actually get inside and see what it's like to, kind of be the person confessing their sins,
Mm-hmm.
Turns out he got into the
Priest side.
Yeah, the priest side by mistake. And somebody else walks in and starts confessing to him like he's the priest.
And he's like, oh, wait, should I do something? Wait, maybe I should listen. Maybe this will be excellent research.
It's great research.
So this random guy...
my first thought of this is like, is Rohan really good at pretending to be Italian? Because this guy feels like he'd be immediately suspicious of like, oh, he's got a weird accent for an Italian priest.
But I don't think...
Unless, Heaven's Door has just given him that ability. That could be.
I don't think the confessor has a name.
No, they never give a name.
Oh, yeah, because confessors remain anonymous.
Yes.
Okay,
never gives his name.
Yeah, he was working as a laborer when this beggar comes along saying, like, hey, I need food. I haven't eaten in so long.
Yeah, I think he said specifically he was, like, lifting corn on a farm and putting it from one pallet to another inside the building.
Yeah. So he was saying to the beggar, hey, lift that corn, then you can have the food.
Yeah, because the guy kept staring at his lunch on the table.
No,
which is
sir.
Just conveniently laying out for all of the bugs and flies to eat.
No, sir, please, let me eat before, and then I will do the work. I promise. Days. I promise I will do the work. No. Work first, food later. Do it.
So here's the thing, too. I'm looking at this guy's design, and for whatever reason, like, this hobo's design feels like part 5. It feels very part 5, like the style, even if it's supposed to be ratty.
Maybe?
Yeah, like the coat and shit. Yeah, that's what it's feeling like to me. That's the kind of styling that the groups in part 5, like Giorno and the others, kind of have going on.
Except the beggar gets crushed by a bag of corn.
Oh, you forget. He starts trying to carry one, and this guy just keeps throwing on a couple more pieces.
Saying hey, you can do it. Stop pretending to be weak.
Come on, stop being lazy. Just take them all at once. And then, as the guy's eating his lunch, the first half of his sandwich, he hears the sound and finds out that the bugger's been crushed underneath all this corn that he forced him to carry. And
this spirit, demon, stand thing comes out.
My brain screams sand on this one.
That says, like, when you're at your happiest, I will have my revenge on you.
Yeah, he grabbed him from underneath the table and is like, I will make you feel the same despair you made me feel. And then he, like, looks over at the corpse and looks back, and the ghost thing is gone.
So, yeah, this guy's life turns around.
Yeah, he ends up, getting long-lost relative, giving him money, ends up creating like a whole bunch of foodstuffs, including like, popcorn and cornflakes and shit. It's a massive corporation and company.
No woman would ever look at him, but now women are going...
that he didn't have the time because he was having to work so hard prior to this. He just did not have the time to have a love life.
And now he does.
With a supermodel, no less. Has like literally 15 servants. And like 3 chauffeurs or something like that. But he's like, I don't know, all this feels weird. Always unnerved. Even has, a nice little girl as his kid. He's like, look, Daddy, I can catch popcorn in my mouth when I throw it in the air.
Yeah, and then he said, like, boy, I sure am happy now. Boom! Revenge!
Girl possessed and is strangling his throat.
I did like the fact that the tongue was talking to him.
Again, part 5! Remember, there was that entire episode where Narantia can't talk because there's a stand holding his tongue and making him say different shit.
No. Who constantly tells lies.
But like, it's the concept is here.
Yes.
A tongue possessed thing, essentially. It's here. Like, this is totally elements of part 5 that are showing up here.
When did he write part 5?
Not sure. I'd have to look that up.
So the demon says, like, hey, you like catching popcorn in your mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do it. Do it 3 times in a row, or else I will cut off your head.
Yeah, well, after he, like, begs him of, like, it's not my fault. I totally didn't do it. And he's like, nah, man. You totally did it, but let's see if fate decides whether or not it's true. You have to toss that popcorn up above that lamppost in height and then catch it in your mouth 3 times in a row.
Part 5 was currently being written when this episode was in manga form.
Well, that says for sure that something inspired the other here with this idea. He definitely spun it off in one way or another. So yeah, gotta flick that corn in the air, the popcorn. But oh no, the sun's blinding my eyes.
Oh, but luckily I managed to catch it with my tongue as it was falling.
Yeah, that was close, but I did it. I'm gonna live. It's like, great job. You gotta do it 2 more times.
But can't we stand in the shade? No, you must do it here.
Also, I'm looking at this, right? The possessed girl with the tongue that's alive, right? And my brain's like, you know what? Now I'm just seeing The Exorcist. I'm just reminding me of The Exorcist. So yeah, he's like, come on, you gotta do this. Let's go. Second throw. No waiting. Let's go.
But luckily clouds come out.
Yep, clouds are there blocking the sun. He can see the thing. Except now there's birds coming in for it.
Yes, because hey, this man's giving out popcorn.
Free popcorn, huh? So as a result, his answer is, I'm going to rip the bag apart and popcorn will go everywhere. So they'll be distracted by that instead of the one I'm eating. And he catches it. No problems. Yep. He's great. Cool. 3rd time.
Now there's more birds.
Time. Except now, when you throw it in the air, you've only got 1 piece left. And there's birds everywhere watching your every move with that popcorn.
Yes.
And it's your own fault. You brought these pigeons.
So he lights it on fire?
Yeah, he lights it on fire, which I don't know why his hands are burning too, but okay.
Does he have a stand?
I don't think so. Fucking Magician's Red is just over there in the corner. Yeah, I'm helping out, right? I felt sorry for this guy, so I gave him a little hand. So yeah, the pigeons won't eat burning popcorn. There's no way. Except the clouds have parted again, and I can't see the burning popcorn anymore.
And now that the popcorn's on fire, it's blending in too well with the sun.
Mm-hmm. And it landed on my shoulder. Now my coat's on fire.
And my head is gone.
Yep. Vengeance has been taken.
But wait, you're still talking to me. How is that possible if your head's been truly chopped off?
So hold on. At this point, what did you think was happening?
I was going to say that a headless corpse was talking to him.
Okay, because I had 2 thoughts in my mind. One of which was either A, he's going to keep dying every time he thinks he's happy. He didn't actually die there, was my thought. But like, he got, fixed or whatever. He got better.
Yes.
Essentially. And this was going to keep recurring. He would constantly be left with that despair and it would never end until he actually died.
Okay.
If that would even be possible for him. Or 2, he had a body double. So one of those ends up being correct, but I had both thoughts in my head of like, those are the only 2 possible ways I can think of that this fucked up story can go. Because again, I saw this first, so I thought we were going to be following this story the entire way through.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we get to see like the head there, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not the same hairstyle. Either this has been a longer time, or the body double idea hit me.
Yes.
You see just like this vague silhouette. But then they start hearing voices, and Rohan creeps and peeks out the curtain and sees the corpse of his body double, the headless corpse, saying, "You paid me to have cosmetic surgery. You made me take your place and cheated me." And we find out that the chauffeur that was with him at the time was in fact the original person with the cosmetic surgery done as well.
Yes.
And he's like, "This thing can even follow me into the church." Also, the headless man is like, "When your daughter's having the happiest moment of your life, I'll come and get you." I mean, that should buy him some more time, right? Because when's his daughter's happiest moment of her life? Her wedding?
The happiest moment of her life. I'm going to Euro. Is Euro Disney no, that's
I don't know if
France.
it's there at this point, but yeah.
Okay, or going to a theme park. Daddy, this is the happiest moment of my life. And I'm only like 8 years old. Will she die then?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? The way this is worded, it sounds like he's the one. His family's being left alone, you know, as far as like their lives and dying. He's the one that they're all after. Then you have the beggar showing up being like, "You fucked up. You made me kill him and not you. I knew it." Which, you know, I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, hold on a minute. You've been helping this fucker the entire time get rich. Because that was the thing, right? The beggar apparently in the background has been helping this fucker get rich so he can tear him down. Which is cool. But it kind of leaves to me a massive hole of like, how did you not know he got this surgery?
Yeah,
that's the one plot hole I'm having here of like, you have like a spiritual connection or something to this guy. How do you not know?
But yeah, these were weird, interesting episodes.
Yeah, so we see the guy walking out of the church with those ghosts crawling on the ground following him. But yeah, this ends with Kishibe Rohan just being like, "You know what, I should go back and check in on him and see what's going on with that." And I'm like, cool! This is a great story to follow. I'm super curious.
And then they jump to the hill for your viewing.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah. No, was it the hill or was it the millionaire that was second? No, hill was second. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, but then you're like, wait, what's going on?
I'm like, wait, what? We're not... What's going on? I thought we were doing the thing. We're not doing the thing? We're doing another thing?
But this is interesting. Maybe down the line, I'll watch the live action stuff if I can find it and just see what kind of weirdness is in there. See all the bad CGI.
I would love to see more of this just because they're interesting series, right? Interesting little tidbits. I would love to see some of these stories expanded on a bit more. Like, what the fuck is going on with the guy that's being haunted by these people he's fucked over?
Well, they have 11 chapters. Wait, why is chapter 11 2 dates?
Was it a 2-part thing?
Then wouldn't it say part 1 and... No, maybe? Wait, no, I'm just reading... So, maybe it was 11 episodes total because episode 10 here, called episode 11, Damn You Rocky and Your Weird Numbering of Things, is 2 parts. So maybe Drip Paint Style is 2 parts?
Maybe. I have no idea.
So 11 chapters for you to read down the line if you can find them.
Yeah.
So I guess that wraps up this episode. And rev up your chainsaw. We're going to go on a very dark adventure next time.
The more they're scared of me, the stronger I get.
Laters.
Bye-bye.